Hi there, I'm Lena Anani, and you're listening to She Wrote a Book, where I interview amazing women from all over the world who also happen to be published authors. I created this show to educate, entertain, and inspire you to be the voice you want to hear in the world. Did you know this episode comes with a free gift? It's a webinar for aspiring authors who want to learn my insider secrets on writing and publishing books. You can access this free training instantly at SheWroteABook.com/bonus. Now let's get started. You are listening to episode number 38 of She Wrote a Book, and today I'm interviewing Katie Corcoran, author of the book She Makes It Work, a DIY Guide to Thrive in Your Hustle. Learn how busy, do-it-all types thrive in their daily lives in this DIY guide through productivity tools, wellness non-negotiables, and also through their interests and behaviors within a busy lifestyle. Katie Corcoran is a work-life balance expert, coach, and self-proclaimed do-it-all lady hustler. She believes everyone is destined to thrive and master happiness by experiencing residual growth on a daily basis. Again, her book is called She Makes It Work, a DIY Guide to Thrive in Your Hustle. You can find the link to purchase her book in our show notes for this episode at SheWroteABook.com/38. So Katie, it's such a pleasure to have you as a guest today. I need to know more about why this book, what made you want to write and publish this book?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So this book has been an incredible process for me, and I really, really have just been so inspired throughout the course of writing it. But the reason that it all started was because I ended up going through a coaching program where I work with people one-on-one, and was finding that many of the people that wanted to, kind of learn more from me were facing many lifestyle, moments where they were feeling really stressed and wanted to incorporate kind of more balance in their life. So I had this community of people who felt really stressed and felt kind of a bit lost in their career, and then also maybe weren't taking great care of themselves. So I was coaching them as a one-on-one coach in that world, and I was doing that as a side job in addition to working full-time in digital advertising and marketing. But on the flip side, I ended up getting really involved in the New York City female entrepreneurial community. And so here I was kind of during the day and in my side business working with people that just maybe weren't totally feeling like they had figured it out. And then on the flip side, I was at night at networking events and on the weekends connecting, and even for coffee in the morning before work, connecting with particularly women that just were really just killing it and, had found a passion and or created a business for them that really fit into their lifestyle and that, fulfilled their needs and interests, and that they were just super, super passionate about. And so with this group of inspiring women, I just kind of wanted to learn more about why certain people have the ability to, really be resilient and following what makes them feel energized and fulfilled, and while other people might not be in that place yet, or maybe have fears about, actually following a path that is suitable for their own fulfillment. So the book dives into character traits and productivity tips and wellness tips that these do-it-all types include. And so I call these do-it-all types the lady hustlers. And there's over 21 featured in the book. The book, yes, dives into productivity, wellness, and then behavioral type elements. And there's do-it-yourself tips at the end of every single chapter, where the reader is able to really think about what they've just learned about from each lady hustler.
So I like that term, lady hustler. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. The whole what's it called, boss babe, and then lady boss, and all of those kind of keywords came out right around the time that I started this project. And so on the back end, I was like, oh my God, lady hustler. It's so, so closely aligned with, with what girl boss and all that community is doing as well. But it's just basically this woman who really, really knows and is kind of constantly feeling on the go and ready to be productive and wanting to, attend kind of like all of the events and feel again really, really productive and fulfilled. So the one thing that I really wanted to stress in this project and in this book is that the lady hustler is kind of this ideal and this person that we put on a pedestal. But really what I found in this lady hustler, on the go, busy type community is that these people, while they are certainly stressed, I actually found them to be somewhat less stressed than the people who felt a little less able to determine their path. And so it was interesting that these particular women ended up better knowing how to really take care of themselves so they could feel clear and they could feel calm and they could feel present when developing really successful businesses. So the lady hustler is kind of like, it's great and it sounds like, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go. But the important thing is, and the one of the main takeaways from the book is that in order to really be able to thrive in a hustle-like mindset, we really do have to take care of ourselves in the process.
So thrive seems to be one of your key words. What does that mean?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it is. So during the process of writing this book, I came up with this concept just called the Thrive concept, and it's an acronym. And the acronym, when explored or thought about every single day, is kind of my own little recipe of having a overall happy and exciting day. So Thrive stands for T, thoughtfulness, H, incorporating a little bit of hustle, R, learning how to incorporate that residual growth every single day. I stands for inspire, so not only be inspired by others, but inspire somebody else, have a new conversation with somebody else. V means know your own value and feel committed to knowing that what you're sitting on and your intelligence and your person is valuable. And then E stands for empowerment. So just constantly feel empowered to make decisions for you and to know that you really are the boss of yourself and you have the power to choose how to live your day and choose how to be happy. So it's kind of the main takeaways of the book, and every single element that we talk about with the lady hustlers, and then also throughout the course of the chapters, definitely stem back to those core values.
That's awesome. I have to admit, I had no idea that, I heard you use the word thrive several times in this interview, and I had no idea it was an actual philosophy that you created, and that's amazing. And I love every word that you chose. It's perfect. It's very holistic too. It's very holistic. I love it. It approaches all areas that need attention to make it work. I love it.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's definitely been. I have kind of a funny story of how it came about. I made a dream board at the beginning of the year in 2015, and this was it was 2014 in January. I made a dream board, and if anyone listening is not familiar with a dream board, basically I just cut out a bunch of inspiring quotes and imagery and spent, I like to do this at the beginning of every single year, so I put it on a poster board and then I just had it hanging in my room. And at that point in time, I had no idea I was going to start a book in 2014. I didn't even have a physical image of a book on this dream board. I had more flowers and bright colors, and I was doing a triathlon that year, so I had, a little image of a triathlon cup happening. And there was a quote on the board that said, "Thrive every day." And I started a self-publishing book course in June, of 2014. And again, in January 2014, had no idea I was going to be going to this self-publishing book course. And while I was working on the outline for the book and coming up with, the underlying message that I really wanted to speak to, I remember one morning I was meditating, and I actually don't meditate too often, believe it or not, being in the coaching space. But anytime I do, it's always quite uplifting. And I meditating in my room. I think it was a Saturday. I was feeling really calm. The work week was good, so I was able to get in a good place. And I finally looked up on the wall and read Thrive Every Day differently than I had ever read it before. And thrive had really never been a key word in my vocabulary either. So I honestly just looked up at the wall, and I came up with the acronym in about 15 minutes, I would say. I opened up a notepad on my phone. It was like, boom, okay, here it is. This is what the book's going to be about. So it's just kind of a unique thing to kind of plan ahead, or unintentionally really listen to, I guess, a desire, but also, internally feel months and months before it actually came to fruition, feel that might be something that would inspire me in that particular year, 2014. So 2015 made another one, but that was a big one from 2014, and definitely has influenced the concept and the underlying message in the book.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that process with us. I think it's definitely inspiring, and I think, a lot of people, like you talk about in your book, a lot of people see the women in the world who have got their stuff together, and you're just like, how did they do it? And they don't necessarily share their thought process or their journey. And for you to share that with us kind of reminds us that, yeah, it's a process. It's not something that we wake up with overnight. It's one thing that leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another, and the journey continues going forward. I'm curious to know about why. I'm looking at your book cover on Amazon. I'm curious to see why this image. It's an image of a flower, and I'm not really good with flowers, so I don't know what kind of flower it is. But I mean, it's pretty. It's purple. It's my favorite color. But why the flower? I'm curious.
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. So I went through a couple iterations of the cover of the book. So that one is actually an old one. So you're catching me at a unique time. Amazon is just accepting my new cover. The new cover can be found at katiecork.com or shemakesit.work. And it is being accepted by Amazon in the next couple of days. But the new cover actually has a necklace that's written in gold cursive, and it says Lady Hustler. And it's a lot simpler, and I would actually like to say that it's kind of, if anything, it's wonderful that you brought it up, because I was in a book process takes a very long time to not only just come up with the outline and the concepts, but the editing and the imagery and to your point, the meaning behind the imagery also changes over time. So I think that's why, for me, it was so important, and I needed to go through the process of the book taking a little bit longer than planned to complete, to be able to really, really connect with the specific reader and help the specific reader that can learn from this book. So the old image I did use is a chrysanthemum. So I did choose a flower at that time because it's a really thriving flower, and it actually lives a lot longer than other flowers do. And I myself am not super into I don't have a green thumb by any means. I'm a city person. So with that in mind, I shifted, and I made the book look a bit more city-esque with kind of the sassy cover.
That's interesting, because when I was actually looking at your, how you can view inside your book, I clicked on that, and I did notice that it was a different book cover, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So I thought maybe you had like two covers or something, but I do see the cover with the Lady Hustler necklace, and I love it. I think that's really cute. I love it. So by the time our listeners hear your interview,
Yes.
they'll see the new cover with the gold chain and the necklace, and it's awesome. Very cool. I like both of them, honestly, but yeah, that's so cool.
Oh,
so,
I'm glad you get to see both then. That's great. Before I hid it in cyberspace.
Well, it's great that we brought it up because I didn't know that about the chrysanthemum. I didn't know that flower thrives through almost anything, so that's really cool. Yeah. So, Katie, what do you love most about being an author?
Oh, it's still so new for me, but what I love is that it's the first platform that I've been able to sit on that I truly believe will help readers. And I think the biggest process throughout becoming an author was just believing that I'm an author, first and foremost, but also knowing that the sky's really the limit for those that you can influence. And I think, I'm a huge advocate of people who like writing to just start kind of putting pen to paper and give yourself the opportunity to potentially unleash that book that's inside of you. I started the self-publishing book course honestly without an idea of what book I wanted to write. So, and again, this was 1.5 years ago. So in life, 1.5 years is not a long time. Throughout the process of working on it, it did feel quite long, and I just wanted to release it. And I kept going through more stages of editing, and it definitely has taken on a new life, which is kind of a theme of what I think you and I have just discussed. Is the process really helps not only you learn how to share and connect with your readers, but in writing a book in the personal development space, I have really and truly feel like I personally have gone through so much growth. So in order to teach, you have to also become. So that's been, I think, the most rewarding thing for me is thriving is knowing your own value. So knowing my own value has just been super, super emotional and unique for me. So I'm truly humbled by the support and by that process.
Very cool, Katie. Thank you so much
for
being. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you so much for being our special guest today. We will have a link to your book in the show notes for this episode, and our listeners can find that at SheWroteABook.com/38 to learn more about our author and her Lady Hustler book. So, Katie, thanks again. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. You too. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to She Wrote a Book. If you enjoyed this episode, then subscribe now so you can automatically get access to all new episodes, and feel free to share your inspired thoughts with us in the comments too. I'd love to hear from you. Are you ready to write your own book? Get started now with my quick and concise webinars so you can learn my insider secrets on writing and publishing your own book. Claim your free gift now at SheWroteABook.com/bonus. Until then, may you always feel good and make magic.
Feel good, make magic now. Lena, Anani will show you how. Ignite that wisdom inside of you and show the world what you do. To publish, write, and promote, learn the best way to go. Oh,